is Pat from Veiled Intentions, and here today with Jesse and Brandon from Brandon and Jesse. And we're going to talk about Nightgame today. We give you guys not only tips and tricks and guides, basically, or a guide how we are doing it, but reveal all the misconceptions, misteachings, misbelief, excuses, and so on and so forth. To have you here, man, or guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us. It's super cool. I think it's actually super cool when guys are able to collab in the space because there's just so much hate going around.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I appreciate you putting this together.
Especially like Europe and American, basically a collab. You know, I did it with guys before, but it's always good to really share knowledge internationally. You know, to get a sense of how these guys are gaming basically, or how is it overseas, you know. In Austria, I was like, I was born in Hungary. I moved to Austria when I was 5 years old.
Sweet.
So it's good. Like 2 million people. Nightgame, I mean, night venues and clubs in general could be at least, or I think a bit developed a little bit more, you know. There are many European cities which are way more developed when it comes to night venues, and but these are basically just excuses, you know. Every guy I'm talking to, every guy thinks their city is the hardest, their city is the shittiest, and I think it's the same like in the US. I think you're in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Jersey.
Yeah, but I imagine in Dallas it's more like a bar scene, right? Or are they like really loud clubs, big clubs, or is it like more bar scenery there? Like
it's both. You can find both because it's a pretty big city.
What I'm curious about, Jesse and Brandon, when you started with Cold Approach Game, did you start with day game or night game? What did you start first?
Night game.
Go for it, Brandon.
Yeah.
So
Both?
When I started, actually, the way I started was funny because I was actually in New York, and like I was an intern. I was interning at this bank over there, and I googled. This is how I got into game, dude. It's so funny. So I googled. I was like, dude, I'm making out with these chicks, but I'm never like taking them home. And I googled that, and I was like, why am I not taking these chicks home? Like I'm making out with them at the bar. Like what's going on? And then some guy on Reddit was like, just read the game by like Neil Strauss, and I started reading it, right, based off this one like thing that I googled. So guys might have found your channel, right, Pat, or our channel just by Googling stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I picked up the book, and like I would read it on the subway or wherever. So when it said like a story of like a success story that he would try, I would just try that right there and then. And after that, I just like went down this deep, you know, rabbit hole, and here we are now. So
I feel like that's all of us.
I sucked with women. Like I can hear out that you kind of were a natural, you know, when you said like you made out with girls and you just didn't know how to take it farther. I mean, I was the guy who was even too shy to ask your grandma what time it is, you know, so I was nowhere there, nowhere.
Yeah, and dude, that's a funny thing, like the background from all the guys, like we're all so different, like how we found out about it, you know, and like even students, even like clients, when they research this, you have so many different backgrounds.
Brenton, how was your beginning? Like you mentioned you started with night game, which is I think very rare because most guys, including me, we start with day game and then making the shift to night game. But you started with night game first, so
yeah. So I was in a long-term relationship, like
he
5 years.
Mercs, bro. Brandon Mercs, fucking night game, bro.
But I wasn't a natural. I wasn't a natural, dude. Like I was with one girl for like 5 years. We broke up, and in that time, when we broke up, like dating apps were invented. The whole entire spectrum of dating changed. Like the way I met my previous girlfriend, I just like danced up on her at a club and that worked, right?
Yeah.
But like after we broke up, Tinder was out, all this stuff was out. And it was kind of like a bad breakup. And I didn't know, like I lived in Brooklyn. So like, dude, there's a lot of options. Okay. But also a lot of high value dudes, a lot of really good looking girls, but they're gonna bang the best guys. And I wasn't getting the results. I was going out for like months and months. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And my boy actually recommended me, like, I forget, it was I think it was like a Todd V video or something. Todd Valentine, which is, I'm not gonna lie, he's not my favorite. These guys are whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how I got started. I was watching videos, and then I don't know, for me, I felt like Night Game was just easy, more accessible. it was a less big of a jump. Like it takes a lot of effort to just go down the street and talk to a girl,
Oh,
like in
interesting.
the
Yeah.
middle of the day. Like I was more nervous in the daytime. In the night, it's like I don't know. I felt like girls are more open to being talked to. I already went out a lot already. I was going to the bars, clubs. I had bars and clubs on my street, literally. Um, it just felt more accessible and easy. So yeah, that's how I got started. And then after I got my first actual lay, I was addicted, dude. I was like, wow, this actually works.
Yeah, I remember everybody in like high school, they went to their like parties, afterwards they graduated, and I just got home, turned on the computer and like played strategy games and football manager and things like that, like that was like, this cannot be it, when everybody tells you like these are your best years in school, and afterwards you have to like, the hard
You're
times
like,
will
no.
come and you have to pay rent and you have to go to work and shit. I was like, I don't want to live, it's like
Yeah.
with no friends and nothing. And then I started as well, like as I said, with Googling. First I was like questions to ask a girl, and I didn't even know like game exists or something like game of like questions to ask a girl, like shit
And
like
you
that.
know what's funny, man? Even at that level, right? Like it's funny we're talking about levels and how we all get started, but even you had some sort of emotional calibration because you're self-aware enough,
Yeah.
to pick up that, okay, this are not the best years of my life. I am being bullied, dude. And there's some guys that are even worse than that. But the fact that you've gotten as far as you have, like to where you are now, is pretty impressive, man. That's sick. Good shit.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks. I think I was, as I said yesterday as well, I think I was like the worst, like from all the guys I know, like probably the worst guy ever. I started with day game, and then but maybe because I didn't have friends to hang out with, like day game, you can be more as like the loner, basically doing day game. It's even
more acceptable, I guess.
It's more acceptable.
Sure.
It's even better than going with a pack of wolves, like 4 guys doing day game. On the other hand, like night game, you have the competition, of other guys, the loud music, girls extra bitchy, having their bitch shields on, because otherwise every guy would approach them. And you can get away in day game with like a boring conversation, more boring. It's more social. It's normal, more normal anyway. But you can get away with like, this boring small talks. And night game, and that's why I think, like you mentioned, RSD, Todd, and I think RSD in general, they were the first who said that day game and night game are basically the same. The one that the sun is up, the other the sun is down. But I don't think this way. And this basically shows me as well when I see guys who think like this, and many guys are doing day game and they suck at night game. They think like they can have this conversational based, like, because to sum it up in one sentence, day game is really more like conversational based, and night game is really like physical escalation based. And they think that they can have these boring conversations in the nighttime with a girl, and then they get it rejected.
It's funny that a couple of things that you mentioned that reminded me of. So when you Googled, questions to ask girls and stuff of that sort, it's funny how a lot of guys look at girls as a whole other species, basically, as if those questions, as if those questions would apply differently to a guy. And delivery is so much more important, and there are ways to get a better reaction on a girl, we'll call it. But it's just funny. I just want to touch on that point because for anybody that's watching this, dude, girls are not like a whole other species. Okay, they think differently, of course. They're different than guys, but overall, you shouldn't look at them as a completely different person.
Yeah, you brought up a good point, actually, because I think that's why guys are looking more for this lonely gazelle, in the street, and where they can have this boring conversations, this filtered out conversation.
But it's just weighted differently, day versus night.
Yeah, I think there lies the big misconception in the community, like when and still there are many coaches advocating still this same theory that they are the same, but they are actually not. Brandon, what's your thoughts on this?
I think a lot of guys who would call themselves like introverts say that they like to do day game, right?
Yeah.
They're like, because it's, I'm introverted. It's funny, but when me and Jesse first met a few years ago, I used to say the same thing to him. Like, I'd be like, but it's not my scene. Like, we would go to the club. It's not, I just don't feel comfortable here. And he's like, bro, you just got to fucking like learn it. It doesn't matter. It's true. It's like being in the NFL. Like, you got to learn how to tackle. It doesn't matter. Like, I just don't believe. I think a lot of guys use introversion as an excuse to like not get the results they want.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like it's a totally different thing. Like you have to play almost two different characters when it's from night to day. You know, nighttime it's all about like higher energy, getting more sexual, seeing how the girl feels, getting more physical. And day game it's like almost the exact opposite. But I just think like, dude, me and Jesse love night game. We do
Same here. Same here.
yeah,
I'm
we do
only
so
doing
much
night
night
game.
game. Yeah. So like also one thing I know is that in Europe in general, it's a much more like day game friendly like living. It's a lot of the European cities are much more walkable. Like I've been to Poland, Spain, Germany.
Okay.
Like you could kind of walk. Everyone walks everywhere. In the States, it's like, dude, you can't do day game outside my house. There's like nothing here.
You can do it from the car, like
Yeah.
window down.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make
But-
good infield, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So like you have to drive. You have to go out of your way to do day game here. Like you have to go to the mall or something, you know. But that's some of the biggest differences I noticed. But for night, I just feel like the girls are more. You're gonna pull more from night game.
Receptive, yeah.
Yeah, like the girls know what the deal is. Dude, if you have two good guys, you're deadly, man. You're deadly. You know,
I think the results when you're really about the results, getting laid, night game is the best.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't compare. I would agree that you probably find some. If you're looking for more of a relationship, maybe a good girl, maybe you could find a better girl somewhere in a coffee shop that doesn't go to the bars, doesn't go to the clubs. If that's what you want, right? If you want more of like a chill girl, that's fine. But if you're looking to get laid, I think you can't beat the club or the bar. It's just the best place.
I mean, I wouldn't even 100% sign that if you were looking for a relationship, like, because I had long-term relationships, basically approaching the club, you know, in night game, and same girls will go and buy groceries the next day, you know. And you said it very well that guys are using this as an excuse, you know. Oh, the music is too loud, the girls are bitchy, they're not high-quality girls, etc., which is not true at all.
Yep.
Then, you're making basically excuses up. What you would suggest, Jesse and Brandon, for a guy who brings up excuses?
But most of the time, guys make excuses like this. They're just masking an insecurity deep down inside. So it's too loud, or why is it too loud? Can you not speak up? Right? It's like, what's going on? It's mostly a way of masking insecurity. And guys, if you're watching this, you got to be really honest with yourself and ask yourself, okay, why am I not comfortable doing this? And then throw yourself at it. And trust me, once you throw yourself at it 1 time, 2 times, a dozen times, 100 times, you're definitely going to get better. And it's all a skill. It's not like, you know, you need to have it or you don't. It's all a skill. That's my advice.
I think one of those excuses, basically one of the main excuses why they are not doing it, is as well because they can't hold court in front of other men, you know, because they know there will be other guys who won't have the same result at the end of the day, or who hope for the same result of getting laid, and they have competition, and that's why they bring up all different kind of excuses. But what I would suggest, if you feel uncomfortable entering like big loud clubs, and I was like one of those guys, what I would advise people, guys out there, is to go to a bar or to a club during the week when there is not much traffic. Go there, like, I don't know, on a Wednesday night, or you kind of get a feeling of basically you make this venue your kind of living room. You can get to know as well the staff there, which is very, very good when it comes to later DHVing, and not feeling alone, you know, when you go there, and maybe the bouncer will be the same bouncer on the weekend as he is during the week. Just have a chit chat. The same with the bartenders and stuff like that. I used to do it all the time, you know. It's so easy just having a small talk to the bouncer, because the bouncer, you have to think like in real life out there, here's a nobody, you know, the wage is really shit, and he's not really respected. But in the club, in the venue, he is the guy who basically either lets you in or not, you know, who is like on a hierarchy. He's higher than you in the club.
Like the guys are very intimidated. They see girls at tables, but dude, those girls don't care as much about that shit as you think.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck,
dude.
man.
It's
all about how you make them feel. Like a lot of times they're at these tables with these chody guys who pay for everything. Yeah. And me and Jesse will just swoop in and like dude, these guys have horror, like the look of fucking horror on their face.
Yeah.
Because like they paid for all the shit, they're buying
Don't get any
bottles,
pussy, yeah.
they don't get no pussy. Like the girls are gonna take advantage of them. Like they'll put them in the friend zone, they'll do everything, but dude, it's all about how you make them feel. Okay, it's not about whether you can buy them. That's why guys have this misconception that you need to be.
I mean, it's the funniest excuse anyway. Like when the guy says like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have money. I don't want to like night game. It costs money." Tell them what the fuck. Like, it doesn't cost the entrance, which is like here 15 euros, like $15, and $5 for Red Bull. That's it. I don't drink alcohol at all. I never drunk in my whole life. So for me, it's like very cheap. I'm with a Red Bull the whole night. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. That's all it takes. You don't have to drop crazy amounts of money. And this is another thing that guys. So the way guys are wired to think is really funny. So they go into these clubs, and then they think to themselves, "Oh fuck, those girls are at that table because those guys got money and they got a bottle," which could be true. Okay, it could go both ways. But most of the time, the girls at these tables are at those tables because they know someone that knows someone at that table.
I mean, when you look at it, the venue itself, a club, it's a business. And I talked to a girl who was a party promoter. She told me that it's basically made, the whole conception of a club is to not make guys getting laid, to make it fucking hard for them, for the usual guy, because at the end of the day, a club is a business that wants to earn money. If you go there, like clubs hate guys like us, because we are going there, we have $5 drinks and we go out with a girl. That's it, They want to have the guys who spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars there, and that's what they're what they're after.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard that every time you see like and she told me the whole concept, the loud music, the DJ, the bar is right always next to the dance floor, basically, because they want guys to dance up girls. The music is too loud. Of course, they cannot have a real conversation. That's not by coincidence. So in terms to get to a conversation with a girl, a guy wants to ask her to go to the bar, buy her a drink.
You have to understand, women aren't just going to come to you because of your money. Only the gold diggers. You're only going to attract the negative type of girl that you want.
Yeah.
A lot of guys want a relationship with a good girl. So you have to understand how to spot a good girl, how to stress test a relationship to make sure she's a good girl and she's not just there for the money or whatever it is. And a lot of guys don't know that, right? They think that money's just going to bring them a good girl, and that's not how it works at all.
There's a lot of rich guys not getting laid, man.
Yeah, many.
Or getting fucked over. So,
What do you guys think about doing warm-up sets?
You want to go ahead and give yours, Brando?
Sure. Personally, I don't believe in warm-up sets. Okay, we're already warmed up before we go out. Like, we have a little ritual. Like, we'll put music on. We'll have a few drinks with the boys. Everyone's laughing. We're in a good mood already. Okay, dude. When we get in the line, especially if you're an introverted guy, just start talking right away. A lot of the girls we close are from the line to the club. Okay. Now, if you treat it as a warm-up set, what good is that? You can establish a lot of value with say a 3 set of girls in front of you at the line to get into the venue. All right. And personally, me and Jesse, I'm trying to close the first set I open.
Yeah.
I'm not like jumping from fucking 20 sets. When these guys tell me, "Oh, I got 20 numbers in the club," if you got 20 numbers in the nightclub, you suck at game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
it's the same guys in groups. Like they have a like open close. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm mentioning every time open close ratio.
Yeah.
Like if you get like 60 girls to get laid like once, then something is wrong. It's like
Exactly.
I personally do like 4 or 5 approaches as well during the night.
Yeah.
Not more, never. And
no. You don't have to, and that's just terrible. Fuck. If you're
that
telling us that
screening is shit as well.
Yeah, screening is shit. Like everything, you're doing everything wrong basically. If that's what you're getting. And nowadays numbers don't mean jack shit, especially if you live in a city. So like a lot of guys don't travel a lot. Most guys just live in one city and that's where they stay for years at a time. So what happens when you do shit like that? You just become known as like that fucking creep in your city. And not everyone lives in a big city, so it's not like you have the choice to do stuff.
I mean,
like
me
that.
personally, I started in a city with 30,000 people. Like,
yeah,
there kind of everybody, and I knew everyone, and it would be fatal for me, to be like labeled this creep. And last time I had a student, and he said to me, "Oh, I blow out the whole city." And I asked him, "How big was your city?" He said 300,000 people. I said, "You nearly have like 500,000.
You go door knocking,
and you blow out the city. Like you did something wrong, my friend.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, and it's good that we're on the same page when it comes to warm-ups, because it was another bullshit teaching by RSD, etc., to do like these warm-up sets. And the thing is, and as we talked about, the smaller the venue, the more likely they will notice you anyway. So imagine like you are going there as a good-looking guy. Let's take Jesse without game, good-looking guy goes there. He sees a girl he's into, but he thinks first like, I have to do my warm-ups. I'm not feeling comfortable yet to go to this girl. Why this is happening? Because, and there are many guys, day game, they never need warm-ups, but when it comes to night game, they need warm-ups because they don't have the proper system and the proper strategy.
I was looking at women as like this whole different type of species. Like, oh, I got to warm up to go talk to a girl. But in reality, what you're doing, you're warming up a couple muscles, your brain and your mouth. You're not warming up to talk to a female. You're warming up your own social gears inside your head to have a conversation, to be able to be witty, to be able to be flirty. It doesn't have to be a warm-up set with a girl. You can do that. There's exercises we teach our guys to do to get that your muscles going. Okay, that's what the warm-up is, getting those muscles in your brain going. So
you have this beautiful girl you're actually into, but you need your warm-up set. Now you enter the venue and talk to unattractive, like usual, like fat, unattractive chick. And that's what I'm saying. Every time, you're not a fucking phone. You have to like charge up. You're not starting with like, I don't know, 40%, and you have to charge up to 100, and then you can go to the hot girl or the girl you like, because you're going to and there is a mindfuckery. You're going to this unattractive girl, she blows you out. You go into the next one, it's not really going that well either. Already like 2 girls, and you're more and more in your head like, wow, this fat bitch, she blew me out. She's kind of interested in any kind of way in me. How should I go now to the beautiful girl? And your confidence got lower. Instead of like going to 100%, it goes more towards 0. And the other thing is, that girl maybe saw you as well entering the venue, and she was like, "Oh, Jesse's like, find a guy. He's like my type of guy." But why he went to this girl there before, why he went to this fat, ugly girl, and girls are very competitive with each other. So why he went to this girl and then to the next one, maybe he has a fetish for fat girls, I don't know. And then now he comes to me. The thing is, she will think that this girl blew him out. The other girl blew him out, not even attractive as me. Why should I give him a chance, And as I said, they're very competitive. They cannot give you, basically, even if they want, they cannot give you a chance because they will think like, oh, look at this fat bitch, now she will love at me. She will think like, look, the princess wants him with open arms while I rejected him.
All it takes is, dude, I'm glad we're on the same page here, but all it takes is one bad interaction for you to blow out the entire venue. And why do I say that? Because the way chicks staying, the way girls staying, they look at how other girls are looking at you and perceiving you, and then that's how they label you. So even if one girl blows you out like in a really bad way, and the girls around you catch that, they're gonna be like, "Oh, she blew him out for a reason, right? He must be creepy," or they're gonna make an assumption, and then they're gonna treat you as such. But if you go in and you don't warm up, oh, I'm blowed out, and you just go in with the mentality of, all it takes is 1 or 2 sets to get a close or to get a second date set up, whatever it is you're going for. All it takes is 2 sets, and they're both super receptive. It just changes the environment and the outcome of your night in general versus looking at it as a numbers game. Oh, it has to be a numbers game. Guys, it's not about numbers. It's about emotions here. So completely forget that warm-up.
I mean, it's better to go straight to the girl you like, to the beautiful girl, than doing and get a rejection rather from her. Then going like try to build yourself, but it's not working. Sometimes you think, oh, they are easy because they are fat or unattractive. No, it's not. It's usually like all the other guys shit themselves to go to the hot girl. They will do the same as you. They will go to the unattractive one, and that unattractive girl probably had more approaches that night. And I talked to many girls when I'm asking them, how many guys did they approach you? And they are like, oh, only 2. Guys always think that I'm arrogant and stuff. With the hottest girls not getting approached as much as you think. Today's world, we know like fat girls, they make the most money, like on OnlyFans and stuff like that. So it's it's like they have a boost of confidence.
Do you know what's so funny? So guys are always making excuses for one way or another. Okay, so they look at a hot girl And then one of the excuses, like you said, that you just mentioned is she's probably hot or arrogant, whatever. But it's also like, oh, maybe they just feel like they're not enough themselves. But
Yeah.
we had a situation where we had a client who wasn't talking to anyone. Like he was he was using the excuse too picky, like, oh, I want something better. I want something better. And I was like, look, man, I just want you to prove to me that you could close anything you want. Because you keep saying you want something better, but I'm not even sure you could close at something better that you want. So how about you go open this set and see how far it goes? He got one in like 2 minutes. Because the mentality you guys should have, it's not about, oh, I want something better. It's about having that switch turned on 24/7, where you're kind of flirting with basically every single girl that you meet, but it's up to you to make a decision. Oh, okay, I'm gonna close that one. And what that causes in the venue is that basically every single fucking girl is gonna end up loving you. Just because every time a girl sees you, there's this girl that's having a fucking blast with you, and she wants to have that blast with you now. The way I like to break it down too is, I mean, you do have to warm up those motors in your head to be able to talk and turn that switch on. But you do that before you get to the club or the bar, wherever you're going. You're supposed to be warm. You're already there. And you can do that by talking to your friends, talking to someone, talking to the bouncers, talking to everyone. When you just get talking, it builds that vibe. It builds momentum in your night, and you just feel better throughout. But the analogy I like to give is, let's say you're a boxer. You warm up before you get in the ring for your fight. You don't warm up in the ring. You know what I mean? You're gonna get knocked out if you warm up in the ring. You warm up outside the ring before you get in there to fight.
Get social already in line, and exactly, especially when on the weekend, the queue is long. First of all, I'm skipping the queue always. I'm never standing there, because here are the particular clubs you stand for like 2 hours or 3 hours,
That's
in the fucking queue. So I'm just skipping the line. I'm always like, I did this weekend, like, most likely with a girl group. A girl group is there, or a mixed group. Sometimes I'm just shout like, "Hi, Lisa," or something, and somebody in the queue will be named Lisa, and then hi, whatever, and I'm just saying, pretend you were my girlfriend for 2 minutes and till we get in. And it's actually way easier as well to get in with a girl at some venues. And when you enter, and this is especially good when you're a guy going out alone, you have your kind of home base you can go back to. When you're like doing your things, like, you always feel like safe, that I have my base I can return back to, And those girls, maybe when they're hot, they can even DHV, you can give you some pre-selection, and from there you just basically introduce girls into your group.
No, 100%. I think getting to know people while waiting in line or queue, as you all say, I think that's super, super important, and it's absolutely necessary, especially if you're gonna wait over like anything over 10 minutes, where you have to wait in at night, is an eternity, because guys get in their heads so fast. I've seen guys go from having so much momentum in 20 seconds to just being absolutely in their head and just going this downward spiral. So you always have to be talking. If you talk to a girl, like the way you brought it up, that works well too. Just in general, I think, doesn't matter who you're talking to, those motors in your head have to be running at all times.
So definitely, if I could have a choice of going out alone or going with a wingman, I'd always say it's better to go with a wingman, because most girls, 90% of hot girls, are with at least another girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, even if she loves you, the girl could fall in love with you. If her girlfriend's not having a good time,
one quick second.
You're screwed. Okay. I like to say your set is only as good as its weakest link. Okay.
Yeah.
So, dude, there could be 3 of yous, or you and 3 girls. If 2 of her friends love you, they're having a great time, the other one is fucking over it, she's gonna just pull them away from you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just the truth in Nightgame. So I think the easiest way to bring in a wingman is I'll talk to the group or the girl. It's obviously a group. If it's like, say it's 2 girls, I start talking to both of them. After 2 minutes, by the way, it's my friend. I'll bring him in. I never like.
You mean when the hook point is reached, then you bring him in?
Yeah, I'll bring him in. I'll be like, my boy. Oh, this is my boy, by the way. Or she says something. Oh, my boy was just. She's like, I'm from Canada. Oh, my boy was just in Canada. Oh, come meet him real quick, and I'll bring him in set. There's no reason for a second cold approach to take place. Okay.
That's what I wanted to hear, because you already what most guys are failing to do is anyway introducing their wing at all. Sometimes, I see like a guy just standing next to the group. The guy is too stupid to introduce him. He has to do the introducing himself, which is already showing the girl, okay, that guy has not really the biggest antennas reading like any social cues, which is already lowers his value in her eyes when you have to introduce yourself as a wing. On the other hand, if they do, many guys doing this naked introduction, which means they just say, oh, this is my friend Brandon, instead of somehow baiting the conversational hook, saying, as you said, oh, this is Brandon from Canada. He was in Canada last week.
Yeah, it's like a warm lead. It's a warm lead already.
And then you already have a conversation that makes it easier for the guy who is not good at game yet, or he doesn't have game, to talk about the topic, like in our example, Canada already,
Yeah, it's a
instead
warm
of just
lead.
giving the naked introduction.
Exactly. It's so much more powerful. And always bring your wingman in, man. And like, I get it. Sometimes you forget or whatever, it happens, but like, it's important to bring your man in. It's better for you. You could focus more on the girl you want if your wingman is in with you. Guys, like, I don't know. All right. If you can't find a wingman, find a fucking wingman, guys. Like, just find a goddamn wingman. Sometimes you got to go out alone. I get it. I did a lot of going out alone when I was younger, but it will help you so much when you find a wingman. It's like girls are out together. Okay.
Yeah, in clubs, it lowers your value so much, kind of. I'm not a fan of going out alone. I did it very rarely. If I did, I was waiting mostly for my friends who were coming late. But the girls are always asking, like, oh, are you here by yourself, or who are you here with? You can lie to a certain point. Oh, am I waiting for my friends? They're a bit late. But if you're a guy who doesn't have game as well, who finds it very hard to basically socialize with the venue or have a good time, you're just become very, very fast. The guy standing at the corner with his drink, holding it like a knight with a shield. And then it's like,
you don't want to be that guy.
It sucks.
Especially if you guys are out alone, it is so important to get started talking in the line, talking as soon as you get in there, especially if you're a newer guy to Nightgame. Dude, you have to stick to the 3-second rule. Like, you don't want to be the guy in the middle of the dance floor looking at your phone. You could turn into a creep within fucking 3 minutes. Oh my God, it's extremely important if you're out alone to get going early. Talk to people, talk to the hot girls. Make, like you said, you make a little bit like a home base. You could always go back there. It's really important going out alone.
Yeah, and the question to you both: how would you handle mixed sets? Like, what I'm personally doing is, of course, I'm screening. The larger the group, the more difficult or the more potential stumbling blocks I will have, because it takes like only one girl who doesn't like you that much or tries to then fuck it up for the whole group.
Yeah, it depends. You really got to find out if the guy's part of that group. Okay, you don't. I mean, for me, it's very different. For me personally, I'll give you an example. This past weekend, I was talking to this chick and she was talking to this guy, and I just went up to her and I started talking to her, and then the guy just walked off. He just like started walking away. And I made a little joke about it. I was like, yeah, that usually happens when I pull up. The guy just like fuck off right away. But she loved it. You know what I mean? But if I would have set that, or if I would have set something remotely close to that, and it was one of her really good friends or something, or her brother-in-law or some shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would have, gone horribly. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time, these guys are just kind of waiters, right? They linger around and just gotta make sure that she finds that out. But don't treat the set any different. I treat guys and fat girls the same. Just you approach it the same, where it's kind of a fine balance between, okay, I'm gonna put the authority down, but also you're gonna respect them, right? Depending how they treat you.
How would you say you're going to figure it out if he's a part, like for the guys, watching this video?
So when you go in, just ask them, oh, how do y'all know each other? And then boom, that simple question is like, oh, I thought that was your boyfriend. Oh no. And if she says, oh no, not at all, you're like in the clear. You could actually ignore that guy completely, right? Yeah. He's like, oh no, like I know, we went to college together. Oh shit, y'all planning to date soon? No, not at all. Oh, perfect. He won't get mad, right? Because I'm talking to you. No, not at all. Okay, fuck yeah, let's do it.
I mean, what I'm suggesting, this runs more with like guys who like really weak at holding court in front of other guys. Of course, when you enter and there's like some beta guy But what I'm suggesting is I'm always asking the girl, I'm always asking the girl, whispering in her ear, basically, so it's more the ear which is far away from the guy, basically like, hey, where do you know each other from, or who's this guy? And she will tell you the truth, because most likely if you ask the guy for or address it to both, the guy will jump in, oh, she's my girl, and basically. When he's more of a yeah, he can stand up for himself, he will be more like, okay, get the fuck out, basically saying, oh, this is my girl. Sometimes not even true, and the girl will be like more accepting the kind of like, yeah, runs with the as well, like the social pressure, so she will say nothing, and then you later will find out, oh, this guy was just hitting on her as well.
What you could do too, that really establishes dominance in any group setting when you approach it. But instead of just like whispering into the girl and ignoring the guy, is putting the guy on the spot. And when you put the guy on the spot, like, yo, what up, dude? This is your fucking girl? You're fucking hitting this on Sundays or what? and you put him on the spot and he breaks his frame, boom, you just gained. You literally just took over that whole group, basically. Oh, no, bro, that's not even my girl, right? Because you're kind of like hyping him up a little bit, but not really. Or the girl will jump in, oh, no, I'm not at all. But once you put it on the spot, and if he says, yeah, I'm hitting that every Sunday, and you keep pressing him on it, just trying to break his frame yourself, that would be like the next step from that versus ignoring him. Because a lot of guys, what ends up happening, I mean, at least in the States, most of them won't really do anything, even if they're a friend group. I don't know how it is in Europe, but at a club, I feel like they'd be a little bit more aggressive just because, I don't know. But yeah, in the States, when you kind of
now Western Europe, now it's like more like in Eastern Europe or the Balkans, they are like, the guys are really stand up and really protective, but feel like pussies, like in Western Europe, the guys doing nothing,
So I wouldn't do shit like that in like fucking in one of those Eastern European countries for sure,
or the Balkans,
reading the vibe. I wouldn't go about it that way. But in the States, if you guys are watching this and you're in the States or Western Europe, even like UK or whatever, I would definitely just it's kind of like you're so confident. It's almost you're so confident in like, what's the worst that could happen, and girls pick up on that. They're like, oh, this guy's just fucking, he doesn't give a fuck. Like that's attractive. He really doesn't give a shit. Which works. But how you said it's like just whispering in your ear. That works as well. That works really well too. So it's just about the approach that guys feel most comfortable with, but it's good to know both, because there will be situations that doesn't work where you have to jump to one or the other, for sure.
And actually, in her, as you said it correctly, in her mind, actually, she will be more attracted towards you if you're a guy who comes up and she knows, oh, I'm with a guy, but this guy still comes here.
Yeah.
It's like based on the evolutionary aspect here, she would be more attractive to you because, oh, look, the guy risks basically his life coming in, although I'm with a guy, and he can hold his court. She would be even more attracted to you. What you used to do is like making a compliment to the guy, oh, cool shirt, man, like or whatever, like, hey, I'm just looking for a gym, like, I see your muscles and stuff. I just where are you going to work out, or how much do you bench press, whatever. And while he's talking to me, I use what it's called epoxy eye technique, which I read. I use it all the time, but I never knew there was a name for it, which is basically when the guy is talking back to you. And there are, well, many guys fuck this scenario up, that they somehow, like, they approach the guy and they get into a talk with the guy, and the girls think like this guy is gay, or there's like, like you get into a 5-minute conversation, 10-minute conversation with the guy and completely ignoring the girls. You should transition quickly. And with this technique, basically, you just put in a compliment, oh, nice shirt, man, why he's giving you a reply. You hold strong, intense eye contact with your, I don't like the term target, but your main girl you're having focus, So while he's talking to you, just basically look at the girl and he talks to you, but you build already this intense eye contact.
Guys, when you're talking with this, and if you just got an orbiter, right? An orbiter is someone who's just kind of like staying around the hot girl, whether it's a guy or a fat chick or whatever it is. They usually have a lot of orbiters. Bring more people in, right? When you're out, think of yourself as a quarterback to the team. You truly own up to being a leader in that environment, in that moment. So you're talking to the girl and be like, oh, is this your friend, by the way? Yo, what up? Did you already meet my friend over here? And now you already linked them up to another person. So now he's distracted over there, whether it's a fat girl or whatever, and just throw him in. Yo, did you already meet my boy? Right. And now you're kind of like the energy of that entire group, because you set them up. Now they're talking. Now you're talking to your chick. But yeah, you just want to distract them, and he's basically treat him as your wingman, those when mixed sets. Look at him as a wingman. Okay, I need to make sure that he gets laid. I need to make sure that he finds another girl too, so he's distracted. Doing stuff like this, and you start running really complicated interactions like that. That's really what's going to get you really good at game, because that is literally the most uncomfortable thing you can do.
But I'm curious about if you, for example, let's say this problem many guys have, many students have as well. When they go into a club, they make out with a girl, or they find this one girl they're really attracted to, and it goes well, but it's like 10 p.m., and yeah, we still have like 4 hours till the club closes. What would you suggest to do?
Screening's a huge part of it, 100%. But if it depends how hot she is and what the guy's looking for, because if the guy's just looking to get laid and you meet someone that early, it highly likely won't happen. Okay, but if you want it to happen, it still can happen. It's like a super complicated. The short answer is it depends. That's a short answer. If you really like her, if she's really hot, if you're really into her, the first thing that you should do is try to spend all night with her, right? And then there's signs that tell you whether she's ready to go home or if she's even willing to go home with you. So that's the first thing. If that's what you're looking for, then go for that. And try to figure out what her plan for the night was, and then whatever plan she had, make plans by yourself. Now treat it as a mini date for the rest of the night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. basically would be the first option. And then the second option after that is like, okay, if he's looking just, she's probably not that hot, but you're getting along well, and then your action's really kicking off, but you think you could get something better, later in the night, grab the number, set something solid, and move on. Very, very few times that I say to grab a number, or social media, whatever you guys prefer, but it's very rare that I give out that suggestion. But if you really like this girl, but you kind of screen her a little bit, and she's not too DTF, maybe she's a really good girl, she never goes out, and it was a very special occasion, or maybe she's got a flight in the morning, whatever it is, very rarely do I say to get her number. But if you really like her, then get her number and then move on. Set something concrete on, make sure that second date is solid before you move on, and then that's basically the two options that you'd have. That's what I suggest.
Brandon, would you agree, or do you have a little bit more to
Yeah, I have some more to add. Those girls that you hook up really fast with, say you're making out hot and heavy, those girls almost never close because they already got what they wanted from you. Okay.
Yeah, basically validation. Yeah.
Validation. They got something already. Like the longer you can draw it out, the better you're off. All right. You can flirt. Like I like to let her know that I can kiss her anytime, but I'm not doing it. Things like that. Like it makes attention. It makes her horny. It's like, I won't do it, but I let her know that I'm capable of doing it. Another thing you can do too is if you're with your boys, you can also hop venues, possibly. You could be like, you say you're at like a little bar. Okay, let's go here. Now you're the leader of the group, and now you determine where you're going the rest of the night instead of waiting for the bar to close at fucking 2 a.m. That definitely works a lot too. But I would say stay away from that hot and heavy shit really early on. It doesn't help you. It's not going to help you. Like, do you want to be the guy who gets fucking 20 makeouts, or do you want to be the guy who goes home and closes? That's not saying you can't not make out. You definitely can at some point, but don't be needing her too much. And like Jesse said, you have to screen her. Even if the girl's if the girl is like a supermodel, okay, she's insanely hot. Maybe I will stay with her the whole entire night just to build a good connection. Maybe. Maybe. Because like, let's say, all right, you really want to see her again. The longer you spend with her, the more of the chance you're going to see her again. Okay, like you build a solid lead. That's why those guys get those 20 shitty numbers. Oh my God, I need Textgame. You don't need Textgame. You never built a fucking good interaction in your life. They wonder, why don't girls text me back? That's why I feel like 90% of Textgame is bullshit. It's because you didn't have a good lead in the first place. If you fucking spend 2-3 hours with the girl, you guys had a great time, you got her home safe, dude, she'd almost be like a freaking psychopath not to text you back the next day. anything. Yo, what up? How are you? Like, you don't need some special line or. But yeah, those sets, I would definitely. Those hot. Don't make out with it right away. Don't get too hot and heavy. Don't get too pushy. Draw it out. You could those. Those are the girls that fall in love with you when you spend 2-3 hours with them. You build a narrative. You make her feel all the different emotions. Those are the girls who fly out from different countries to see you and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And the reason we're saying to like not make out with them right off the bat is because one problem we see a lot is once students and clients start getting results with hot women, hot girls can tell that you've never been around or made out with a hot girl. So like when you jump on
and
it
she
too
knows it
fast,
herself. She knows it herself.
exactly. And when you jump on it too fast, it's like obvious, like, oh shit, like he can't control himself around
Mm-hmm.
hot girls because he's never had one.
And there are guys as well who come to me and say, "Oh, Pat, but I made out with a girl and I got her number and stuff, and it runs really good. We have a deep connection. But what if I'm approaching another girl? She will see it, and what should I do now?" I think so.
That's
what?
tough. Yeah.
It's even better. It's like the highest DHV in a club is pre-selection. It's the best
Mm-hmm.
DHV you can have in the club is pre-selection from other girls. You know.
Yeah.
And I did it so many times, and right next to her, and the girl is like, "Oh, you came back to me after you made out with this girl, blah blah." And I say like, "Yeah, but you know, I have a deeper connection with you," and blah blah shit. And they really like, it's insane what gives you, but pre-selection is fucking key, really.
Yeah.
It's even better.
100%. If you're gonna get on heavy with a chick, you better be ready to lose it. Okay.
And sometimes I'm
Yeah.
sorry for interruption. Sometimes I'm showing guys like, see, you are too afraid to talk to other girls now because you are like, oh, this is my girl for the rest of my life or for the rest of the night, and she's the one. And I'm telling her, look, dude, you talk to her. 5 minutes later, another guy comes in, and she's already making out with that guy.
Yep.
How do you feel now? You know, and they're like about to cry. They're like, oh fuck, man, yeah, you're right. And
so fucking sad though, like low key, because making out is not even a big deal anymore for these girls.
yeah,
You know, so for you it might be a big deal because you've never made out with these hot chicks, but that chick made out with probably 50 dudes the past 2 weekends. You know, possibly. So it's not. It's just kind of crazy. Like the promiscuity in the culture. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love it because you know we totally, I guess, benefit from it. But yeah, it's just like making out with chicks doesn't mean fucking anything nowadays because they do it so often. You know, for no commitment. So don't get too excited, guys, when that happens, and don't get too clingy and attached right off the bat. Just because that's really gonna let her know, oh shit, this guy never gets this quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you run really good game, the girl should almost be pulling you home at the end of the night. That's like what really good games looks like. You know, she
and you
wants
don't
to take you
need
home.
as well any fans like let's go home party, and you know,
No.
like
No.
this RSD bullshit basically.
Just
You just
walk
have, hey,
out.
let's go home.
Just walk out, literally. All right,
Exactly.
let's go. Where are we going? Oh, my house. Okay, cool. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that
Sick.
simple.
Yeah. I think but yeah, it's a good talk, Pat. Really appreciate you putting us together.
Yeah.
Reaching
I
out
think
to us, man.
we talked about everything here. So
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Great content. Really good questions you had going for us,
Yeah.
and I like the exchange we had. Hopefully you'll make it out sometime out here, or I know Brandon and I do want to hit Eastern Europe at some point.
Yep.
So I definitely want
yeah, well, hit me up anytime you're in Europe, anywhere. I'm traveling very frequently all over Europe. So yeah, we'll be.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know, just to see what the nightlife is out there.
Yeah, I really like to talk to you as well, guys. Nice to have you here as well. Like Brandon, we stay in touch anyway.
For sure.